Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to go through some Cap 240 players just for your teams, all for under £2. And just before I show you the first guy, make sure you like, comment and please subscribe. There's about 71% of you, which is nuts, that are not subscribed, so make sure you do for me please. But I'm going to kickstart off in the Netherlands with obviously Jamal Amofa here. I have shown him before in previous videos to you guys. I don't think actually too long ago, so forgive me, but I had to shout this guy up again because he's £1.82, plays for a decent team in the Eredivisie of Go Ahead Eagles, and yeah, I just said £1.82. So yeah, definitely I think worth picking up. But look at the scorers here. As you can see here, from the start of the season in 397, not like he went off to a bit of a stinker, having an error leading to goal. But apart from that, as you can see here, he's hitting some nice green scores and even an 83 the other day in a 2-0 loss. As you can see here, from the last 3 months in regards to his AA scoring, it's been an average of 15.4, and in the last month it's been 16.4, as you can see here. L15 of 44, which is lovely, and like I said, Go Ahead Eagles are a decent team within the Eredivisie. They're currently sitting in 6th place as well. Only conceding 22 goals, is like the 4th or 5th best in the league, which makes sense them being 6th. So again, I think really decent. And obviously guys, for the majority of these players, because the winter break is coming up, you only have him to play for Excelsior, which is in game week 433, which is the coming week. And then obviously there's a game week between 433 to 441, which is a good 7-game week, 8-game week break. So again, it's like 4 weeks, 3-4 week break. So take that in mind before purchasing anyone like this, unless I state otherwise. But yeah, as you can see here, his scores in the last 3 months have been really solid. If I take away the one time he was benched, which I think he's only been benched at one time this season so far. Again, look, really good solid scores. As I said, 48 AA the other day in a 2-0 loss, which is brilliant. But yeah, I think he's a pretty good, decent defender. Someone definitely worth looking into at £1.82. Has a nice L15, like I said before, 44, which is nice and low also. So I've got Mario Gaspar here, who is an Elche, who are in the 2nd tier of the Spanish football. He plays for Elche, as I said, as a centre back. So far this season, from when he has started, because I was a bit and ahhing about this point, but it looked like he was starting, got given a red card. It looks like a straight red card, out for 2 games, and he's been put straight back into the team. But in regards to his scores, again, like I said, with a low L15 of 44, which is nice and lovely, he's been outscoring that quite well. Elche seem to be on the rise a little bit more, so in regards to the league, they're sitting 9th. They didn't have a very good start to the season. They do occasionally lose a game every now and again. And as you can see here, their latest results against bottom of the table, should be winning a game, especially at home. But yeah, they have been picking up some wins. Espanyol have been decent, but apart from that, I mean, they've only lost 2 games in the last, looks like about 8 or 10. He gets on average about 9.7 every 3 months, and in the last month, it's been averaging about 10.7 last month. But I think someone like this, who's basically guaranteed start for Elche, obviously plays, as you can see, if the shirt he's wearing is ex-Watford lad. I think he played a right back, if I remember right, for Watford. But it looks like he's more the central position as he starts to age a little bit more. Only has a contract till midway next year as well, but only for 90p. £20 is okay for rare, but 90p in limits is quite nice, especially with that lovely L15. If he was any higher than that, I probably wouldn't suggest it, but right now he seems to be outscoring his L15. Obviously, apart from the stinker game I think Elche had collectively as a team last week. Again, Real Oviedo away, it's going to be a difficult game, but Miranda's at home, they should be winning that quite comfortably. And then when they're back from the winter break from 4-3-4 to 4-4-1, again, Tenerife, they should be winning, and possibly against Valladolid, who are, I think, 3rd in the table, but Elche are at home for that particular fixture. So yeah, that's Mario Gaspar, guys, for Elche, 91p. So we're going to go to the Eredivisie back there, and we're going to go to Bram here. I'm not going to bother pronouncing his last name there. But yeah, 55p, I think he's a good solid shout, especially for someone who's consistent, as follows. You can see here he's sort of getting around that 50, maybe 45 to maybe even late 50s mark. So again, not too bad and not too shabby for a defender in a team that isn't doing the best, in particular in the Eredivisie, as you can see as follows. Yeah, so they're a mid-table club, as you can see here, sitting 10th place as well. Obviously, like Amofa, he's got 1 game at home to Fortuna, which is a very favourable game for them to win. But there is, after that, the winter break. So again, 3-4 weeks of no utility from him, as opposed to, as like everybody else basically. But again, I look at all these players and I'll show you guys each time, and I'm looking at the AA scoring, because obviously that's the most important thing for me anyway, and I'm sure it is for you guys. But it just goes to show you don't need a decisive to get some good scores. But yeah, 13.7 in the last 3 months, you can see here, and in the last month it's 17.2. So again, not putting up too shabby as AA scoring at all, especially that they are losing and drawing so often and conceding so often as well. Like 3 goals against Oldham, another 3 goals against Twente, and for a defender that's -12 AA. So if they ever do shore up a bit or just concede the 1 and maybe 2 goals, I think you're looking at far greater, I think late 50s, early 60s scoring matrices. Only downfall there after the winter break, of course, they've got Feyenoord away and then Twente at home and then Go Ahead Eagles, so 3 difficult games from all within the top 6 of the table. Nonetheless, 50p, even if you want to give it a crack for this game week for at home to Fortuna, I think that's a really good shout. Even his rare last sale was at 13.45 pounds, so again, I don't think it's too shabby. If he goes to about that 10 to 8 pound mark, I would snap him up, and I think I will personally. But yeah, the centre back for Nick, for Bram, I think is not too shabby for any of you guys looking for a really cheap defender with decent AA scores for 50p. So we go to England now, and then we go into the left back of Coventry, which is Jake Bidwell. For only £1.82, Coventry is starting to find some sort of form back, as you can see here in the last 4 or 5 weeks. Getting a good draw to Southampton, who are doing quite well at the moment. Again, doing well at home, just narrowly losing against Ipswich Town, who are again, I think in the top 3 or top 4 in the table, also in the Championship. But from what you can see here, obviously at the start of the season, game week 395, they've had nothing but draws, losses, a lot of draws. 4 losses on the bounce there, and they're starting to pick up some sort of form in the last 4 to 5 weeks. So in regards to obviously the scoring here, from here to the MPs, it looks like he wasn't favoured, he was just a bench merchant, and now looks like he's made the team now. But again guys, do your own research, because I don't know this inside out, so make sure you do so. But from what you can see, like I said before, last year and last season for Coventry, again in the Championship, he was playing okay as like a left mid. Now so far this season he's playing really well, or decently at least, in the left back spot, so more defensively of course. Now if we were to get rid of all his DMPs or sub appearances or whatever else, as you can see here, his L15 is 47 and he's basically surpassing that at least, or at least equaling. As you see here, 47, 73, 69 and 64 all respectively. Having his lowest score against a good informed Southampton team at the moment, and not getting the best of scores against obviously Birmingham City. The good thing about the Championship, from what I can see as well, is that they don't really seem to be having a winter break that I was unaware of. But you can see here 4-3-3 is against Leeds, 4-3-5 Sunderland, 6 Sheffield Wednesday, 7 against Swansea. It says 7 against Middlesbrough again, 4-3-7, 4-3-7 for Swansea Middlesbrough. But game week 4-3-7 and then game week 4-3-8 I'm assuming that's going to be, and then again a couple of game weeks later against 4-4-1. So yeah, they seem to be having, again, they were quite favourable matchups as well. I would say there's a couple of favourable matchups in there. Obviously Leeds and Sunderland away of all things is going to be difficult for Coventry, especially the up and down form they are in at the moment. And then after Sunderland, you've got some nice juicy home fixtures for Coventry, who hopefully can hit the ground running again, because I'm assuming they're going to get back-to-back losses there, or not, maybe a draw. But again, at home to Sheffield Wednesday, then at home to Swansea. So I wouldn't say this guy is too bad or too shabby at all for £1.82. Again, £24 for a sort of rare is okay, not too bad, especially if Coventry do pick up some sort of form again. Now we go to Germany and we go to Magdeburg's right back, and we go to Bockhorn. I've had this guy before, not long ago, sold him and I used him at the best time basically, and this is when I had it basically. So L15 of 46, again, which is lovely, only £1.64. Again, the only problem is you've got one more game at home to Dusseldorf, which is going to be, I think it's a hard game, because I think Dusseldorf are in the top 6, I believe, in the league. Yeah, they're sitting 5th and Magdeburg are 12th, which is basically where they were. I think last season was more mid-table to lower table, that sort of echelon of the table. So they're not, I don't think, the absolute worst, because they got some good attacking threats in that team as well. But even when you look at his scores even last season, and obviously compared to the start of this season, they weren't very good at all, Magdeburg. They, I think a lot of people were getting a bit disappointed with I think there's Attic and things like that who weren't really hitting the ground running like they did last season. They had a lot of goals and assists. But in regards to Bockhorn, obviously he didn't do very well. They were just constantly losing. They picked up 2 good wins on the bounce, and he was heavily a part of that, picking up a nice juicy assist there, and also a penalty one with a nice goal also. And even against Hands of Rostock here, picking up another goal. So again, he looks like he's playing a more attacking position, right wing back, right mid position. So he's going to get amongst the goals and hopefully some decisives. Now, I'd watch obviously his AA scoring. His AA scoring as in the last month has been really well, 11.3, but in the last month it's been 0.1. So a bit more decisive heavy. But again, definitely I think something like this, 17.6 brings him down, -4. And -17 obviously do not help when he's picked up 26, 21 and 16, all on the positive side. But again, when he's back, he's got a good home game here, and then a game against bottom of the league there, and also Holstein as well at home. So you've got some nice little fixtures there. £1.63. You might want to wait till after the winter break or the Christmas break, and he could go as low as under £1, and in which case I would snap him up, and I'm definitely looking at his rare if he goes to any lower than £15, £14 or something within that region. And again, like I said, L15 of 46, which is, you know, quite decent, quite low. I think you get an average at about, for Cap 240, for 48 roughly per player. So again, just underneath it, so that helps you with other players that you could potentially pick. Now, I've gone for someone in the Italian league for Torino in the Serie A, obviously the first division of Italy. I don't think this guy is too shabby at all for £1.64 regards to his limited, and around 16, 15 quid for his rare. I think is a really good buy. L15 of 48, so again, just fits underneath that sort of echelon, that sort of threshold that you want to go under for each individual player. And this is actually a person I was showed by the main man Jonesy, the rare goat himself. So, but yeah, home to Empoli and home to Udinese, some beautiful fixtures coming up, as you can see here, with some nice juicy green scores expected also. Similar to the Championship, as you can see here, 4-3-3, and these are game weeks, 4-3-5, 3-7, 3-9, 4-1, 4-3, 4-5, so it just carries on and goes on. It doesn't look like they get that much of a break around the Christmas period. So again, with that extra bit of utility, obviously as you can see here, he is very capable of hitting 100. He did get 2 assists as a defender, which is obviously extremely lucky. But again, 30.4 AA, 23.7, 2, 22 and 11. In the last 6 months, he's averaging 14.2 AA, last 3, 14.8, and the last month, 11.8. Now, I believe against Empoli and against Udinese, I think he's a proper good shout for both limited and rare. But again, do your own research for that, guys. But they are really favourable to win in those 2 particular fixtures. So yeah, I think he fits the bill all round. He's got some, 1 or 2 good fixtures coming up for game week 4-3-3 and 4-3-5. And he's got a nice L15 of 48, which again, not the highest, but again, it fits in that sort of little brackets of what you can spend for each individual player in the team. And only £1.64 as well, so you can't really go wrong with it either, guys. So that is going to be Adrien Tameze. So we're going to go to Turkey, and I think we just received the news today that they're going to be back running, I think from midweek next week. So you can very much choose his player now. But again, do your own research. It's just the news I've just said today. But we've got Carius. I think it's a phenomenal name right there. Just over £1, which I think is really good value. £18 in his limit, his rare is not too bad either. Wouldn't bother with the £30 at the current floor price. But in regards to his scores, you can see here, he can put up some nice, lovely scores when and where Sivasspor choose to play well, and they are typically the times where he does chip in with a decisive also, which can happen every now and again, not so often, but every now and again, which is a bonus because obviously with his scoring, as you can see here in the last 6 months since the start of this current season, he's a very good steady Eddie, as I like to call him. He had a bit of a stinker game, but that was away to Fenerbahce, who are obviously first or second within the league also, so again, take that with a pinch of salt. But he is still picking up some decent AA with 10.3 in the last 6 months, 10.1 in the last 3, and then obviously 5.2 in the last month. On the pure basis, he got -6 against Fenerbahce. So again, I know it's all if, buts and maybes, but if you just had the 17 and the 5, he's still picking up around that 11, 12 AA score within those 2 fixtures. Good thing about Turkey as well, they don't really have that long of a break, not in comparison to the other European leagues. As you see here, game week 4-3-3 and 4-3-5, and then have a few game weeks later at 4-3-9. As you see, 3-9, 4-40, 4-1, 4-3, 4-4, 4-5, and so on and so forth. So they play a lot of weekend to midweek games every so often, and yeah, I think there's better extra utility for you guys to pick them up for. But again, £1, L15 and 46 again underneath that bracket, which is great for, I think, rare and limited. But yeah, not too shabby at 28 as well, so he could do even better this season, and has some games I think that are quite favourable for Sivasspor. Başakşehir aren't doing too well this season. I think they're starting to pick up a little bit of form, but again, they're very, and ah. Istanbulspor, I believe, who are rock bottom of the table, and they play them at home as well. So again, those next two fixtures are very much favourable for someone like Carius. So we got here in Turkey, we've got Yuan Figueiredo. Not too bad. Again, £1.63. So getting close to that £2 mark, but again, it's a forward card, so you don't really get many forward cards for that sort of price bracket, especially one that can pick up some good decent scores like these ones you can see here with a 95, 64, 69, all within this season. Again, if you want to look at his scoring again for his AA that we always look at, if we're taking away his sub appearances and DMPs, which he hasn't had many of, he has had a couple, but not many of. In the last 6 months, he's averaging 11.9. The last 3 is 11.5, and then the last month's 18.8. So obviously, when and where he chooses to help with a decisive, like in the 95 here, he obviously gets some good scores to go along with his decent AA, or in this instance, really good AA of 34.8. So when he chooses to get among the decisive, you're going to basically guarantee yourself an 80 plus, I think. But unfortunately, it doesn't happen very often. So you have to go to his AA scores, and in which case in the last 6 months is 11.9. So, but someone who's not doing too bad, again, especially as a forward card, getting some decent AA scores, especially positive, even in the last month, as I said before, with 18.8. He's got Sivasspor, like I said about Carius. Both teams are very up and down, and typically, obviously, the team that is at home has a better chance of winning. So if we were to go off that basis, he's at home, again, just under a 60 score expected from him against Sivasspor. I don't think it's too shabby at all. But like I said, with Carius, again, they have some good game weeks coming up. 35, 9, 40, 41, and so on and so forth. But yeah, £1.63 for a forward card like Figueiredo, who can get you some nice, lovely 95s or 80 pluses every now and again. Please take that with a pinch of salt. I'm not saying he's next to Mbappe, but definitely someone who can help, and when he does help among the decisives, he's picking up a lovely juicy green score. Now we go to France, and we're going to go for Ajaccio, and we're going to go for Yuan Touar. £1.64 again for a striker, I think is decent. Yes, he is 37, but you have utility obviously till the end of the season. So obviously this is when he has typically been starting. He has got a random DMP here, so if I were you guys, if you are interested in someone like this, make sure to go do your research and try find out why he was out in that particular fixture. But apart from that, he has been starting since basically 407. Again, this is why I said Figueiredo is quite decent for the price as well, because he was getting above 10 AA for a forward card, which is really good. As you can see here, he's only getting 4.3 in the last 3 months and only 8.4 in the last month, which is obviously a little better, but not exactly groundbreaking. But if we were to take away again the fixtures of him just playing and not coming off the bench or DMPing or anything like that, he's putting up some nice decent scores. Not again, like I said, not groundbreaking, but when and where he scores, he does get you that sort of like upper of 60, 65 plus, as you can see here. So, but when he doesn't have a good game, so he's basically getting you in the 30s, which any old striker who doesn't really give you any AA does the exact same thing. So you got to take it with a pinch of salt. £1.64, it's not too bad. Ajaccio themselves in the league, we'll find out now. So not too bad in 7th place, Ajaccio. So again, a team that's not very up and down, but yeah, in a solid spot nevertheless. But again, this guy has a winter break, plays in game week 4-3-3, and then plays in 4-3-4, which is a very favourable fixture because I believe Valencians are last, as you can see here, sitting in 20th place. Anyway guys, we're like this close away from 500 subscribers, so can you please subscribe to the channel? That would be greatly appreciated, and why not leave a like and a comment below also. But as you can see here guys, again, it is my Twitter channel or X channel at capital Sorare, so make sure to go drop a follow for that to keep up to date with all the threads, videos, and also polls that you guys can all obviously vote in for my next video. But that is everything from me guys. Thank you again. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It's completely free and it helps me out a lot. Also, like the video also. Thanks guys. Bye bye.